True Honor by Tracy Farrow. The feature entitled True Honor comes accompanied by a side view photo. The focus of the photo is two gentlemen, Joe McNeil and Paul Mims, who have presented a large, colorful wreath to a guard. The man in the forefront is holding a white cane, while the man to his left is accompanied by a black Labrador guide dog. To the left of the men, the wreath is now on a stand for viewing by a gallery of spectators standing 30 to 35 feet behind them. Immediately behind the two men are three additional participants, all of whom are saluting in the photo. One of them is a female guard standing only one step or so ahead of the remaining two. The photo's caption provides some additional details as follows. With Tomb Sentinel Sergeant of the Guard assuring proper decorum, Joe McNeil, Paul Mims, and guide dog Shadow advance to present wreath at tomb of the unknown soldier. Behind them some 6 steps, Elizabeth Holmes, Tracy Farrow, and Tomb Sentinel offer a brief salute during the presentation. Guards later remarked to the BVA group that they were unaware of any other occasion on which a guide dog participated in a wreath laying at the tomb. Tracy's account of a recent memorable experience begins with the following. Many years ago, in a land far, far away, I did as many of us have done throughout the years. I reflected at a very young age about my future and wondered just what I should do with my life. All sorts of ideas went through my head, and guidance, opinions, and offers abounded. Like many of us, I chose the military. I asked the Navy and Air Force about their offers, decided that I could only swim about 50 feet, and, as I'm Italian, feared that sharks might enjoy Italian food a little too much for my liking. Off I went to the wild blue yonder. I was a scared kid with a full head of thick hair, characteristic of that time. A photo I sent to the Bulletin editors was a bit too pixelated and could not be reproduced here, but I know of one thing that happened only a little before the photo was taken. I took an oath. We all did. As I did so, I still remember the feeling of awe I had. My chest pumped out a little, my breath became a little ragged, and for the first time I realized that there was more to this than what I had expected. I took that oath 5 more times, and each time felt even more honored to be allowed to take on the responsibility that so many expect of our military. Until the very end, I never considered that I would become, for the rest of my life, a member of a very small and exclusive club, a club of American veterans. That honor is something that nobody can take from any of us. We not only laced up the boots, but wore them in service to our great nation to be recognized as such. So, I have been honored to represent and protect our country, retire as a senior non-commissioned officer, get elected as a BVA regional group officer, and just last year be sworn in as a BVA national officer. Yeah, I do walk around with my chest pumped out, especially when I'm offered thanks by those who cannot join our little club. Then something came about that I never imagined. If I'd been told in advance that it could happen, my only response would have been, nope, that'll never happen, but it would be awesome if it did. The night before the convention officially began, the phone rang and President Joe McNeil was on the other end. He asked what I would be doing in the morning, and all I could think was that I would do whatever he needed. Then he asked, "Would you like to place a wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier?" I will admit that right there in my hotel room, with my wife sitting nearby, I came to attention. My chest pumped out a little, my breathing slowed a bit, and again the feeling of great honor washed over me as I responded with something to the effect of, "Oh, hell yes." I would have gone through liposuction to fit in a uniform to be able to do that. Off we went, Joe, Vice President Paul Mims, Secretary Elizabeth Holmes, and yours truly. We were also accompanied by Shadow, the first ever working dog, to present a wreath. As another special honor, we were led by the first female Sergeant of the Guard, Sergeant First Class Chelsea Porterfield. Paul Mims told me afterward, quote, "If I die tomorrow, it will be knowing that I lived my life completely," unquote. I couldn't agree more. It is unfortunate that there are many who do not know of the tomb or what it stands for, but as veterans, I'm not sure you could find one who would not jump at the chance to be so honored. As a side note, many watched as Shadow started doing a little dance up there. Not sure if Paul noticed it, but standing directly behind him, I did. One of my greatest fears was forming in my mind, as there was no way I could let a dog poop at the tomb, and the only thing I had to catch it was with my hands. The reason you didn't see that on the news is that, thankfully, he was only dancing because his feet were a little warm. If you get to the D.C. area, make sure you check in with BVA National Headquarters, as this was an unscheduled event for us. It might be possible for you to represent us performing such honorable duty, and I can only guarantee that you too will pump out your chest a little, have a short breath or two, and walk with a little spring in your step. To the 3rd Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard, we offer a special thanks for your duty and the honorable service you provide to America's brave unknown soldiers.